So we got an oil filter cooling housing for a 5.4 liter, I guess you could say 99 to 2014
E-Series.
E-Series van. So Econoline vans. Now this would count for the 4.6 liter, the 5.4 liter, or the 6.8 liter V10. They all have this generally the same oil filter extension housing.
They call it adapter, some of them.
I think this is called an adapter. Now the F-Series has the same thing on the F-Series pickup trucks, except they have a different bolt pattern scheme. They have an extra bolt here, and it might vary a little bit in length. Now this bolts to the passenger side of the engine underneath the vehicle. So the motor mounts bolt on top of it. So this is smashed between the engine block and the motor mounts on the passenger side. And this is your water jacket that your water goes to your hose to go to the bottom of the radiator.
One of the bottom radiator hose fittings.
Where it is the bottom radiator hose fittings, and then you have sort of a menagerie of hoses, two that spring off of it that come to your oil filter cooling housing. There's an oil cooler inside of this container right here. It's a bunch of fins and so on. And I'm kind of cheating because I've already took it off. And I think you need a special Allen wrench to take it off, a big fat Allen on a socket. You can either go to the store and buy that tool for whatever price it is, or you can cheat like I did and go into the shed and find a 9/16 bolt. And when I say a 9/16, I mean the head of the bolt is 9/16. So find something that a 9/16 or a 14 millimeter fits, and you can clean the end of the bolt a little bit. This one's not that clean. I took it straight out of the box and used it. And these crimp marks here are because this apparatus is off the vehicle. So I could do this on the vehicle, but this is from an engine, a long block that we bought, and you can see it on my YouTube channel that I'm one of the only ones that did a start to finish video, several hours long, that go from beginning to end and actually start the vehicle in the end, replacing an E-Series van engine, and it was a 5.4 liter. So this is one from the 5.4 liter that was shipped to us, and in shipping they damaged this cooler. So we couldn't use this in a rush. We used our one off our previous engine. Now our previous engine is getting rebuilt bottom end so that we can put it in another project. You can stay tuned in the future for that and tune into the channel, because we just might have a Crown Victoria with a 5.4 liter in it. And some people say that can't be done because the engine's too tall and it might make contact with the brake booster and all that stuff. We'll find out when we cross that bridge what modifications can be made for a 5.4 liter to fit in a Crown Vic and or a Mercury Grand Marquis if you have one, big body style. So in the meantime, we have to figure out what do we need to do to replace this so that we can put an oil filter cooler back on. And we've priced these oil filter coolers, and you can get them under $100, whether it's OEM or aftermarket. Dorman sells one, and you can see when they broke it, they shipped it, put it in shipping, they punctured a hole in it there, so that would leak radiator, that would leak antifreeze. Down here it looks damaged, and then that's your SKU part number, and then you can see the lines are bent, and you know they would probably leak right here at the aluminum fitting where it was in the housing. So they're bent and it's unusable. So the only thing we can do is keep this piece of steel, which is about anywhere from $150 to $350. We can keep this piece of aluminum because it's still in good shape, which is the extension housing itself, and we can just change the cooler. As you can see, it's bent up, damaged. So let me get to the video, and you can see they damaged this, and y'all know what this sensor is. This is your oil pressure sending unit. So your oil pressure sending unit is right below your lower radiator hose, right here on this aluminum apparatus. So I'm covering two things in one video. Your temp sending or your pressure sending unit and your oil cooler and how to take it off. Okay, so you'd get a bolt like this, and I put this one in a vise, and you don't need to do that because you might be under the truck doing this. And instead of trying to find the big Allen that fits in there that goes on a socket, if you look inside there, you can see it's like an Allen thread, all right? And so what you do is take a 9/16 headed bolt, put it in there, and you'll notice that it fits good. It struggles a little bit to go in. It's very tight, and that's what you want. But if you clean the end of the bolt here, whether you have no tools at all and you just have basic hand tools and you don't have access to sandpaper, the old prison concrete shank technique works. You can clean it up like this, and kind of get it down a little bit, so that just a little bit, just enough to give it a slight taper to help it go in easier. And then of course wipe it off. You don't want to put all that inside your oil housing when you put it back together. So it fits in there kind of snug. And even better if you just give it a little tap like that, okay? And so what you would do is you'd get a bolt like this from the hardware store or out of your old junk box, and you would get a 9/16 head side nut, screw it on the end of this bolt, and before you put it on, you're actually making a tool. You'd put the nut on, and you don't have to get one this long, you can get a short one, and thread the nut on till the threads are exposed. And then, like a boss, take a hammer and smash the ever-living shit out of the threads till you oval the bolt. That way the nut can't back itself off. Okay, now you could put it on, and hypothetically, you could put your deep wall socket, 6-point, 12-point, whatever you got on, and take it off. So let's say that was you would put the head of the bolt in, and then the nut you would keep on the outside, because, or you could do it the other way. It doesn't really, well, I don't know if you could do it the other way. It might want to unscrew. But look, this unscrews because I've already taken it off counterclockwise. Okay?
Just regular threads.
Just regular right-hand threads. So as you go counterclockwise, it just comes out like this, and it's no big deal. And then there you go. You keep this good, keep the threads clean, put it to the side. Order you one of these, like we got one on the way right now. And we're going to order a factory Ford one, because I don't trust aftermarket stuff. Dorman's questionable.
This and that comes for $99 OEM.
Yeah, but factory Ford.
That's new though.
Right.
So best case scenario.
Right. So you would get one that's not all bent up. These outlets right here should be perfectly straight. One is a little lower than the other at the bottom, and one's up higher. And then you would get this whole apparatus. And this is your oil cooler, engine oil cooler, not transmission oil cooler, engine oil cooler. And this would be under the vehicle, exposed. You'd have plenty of room to take it off. You'd put the new one on. It's already going to have an O-ring on it like that. If it doesn't, take your old O-ring off and stick it on. And then set it in the same location. This thing only has 2 locations it can be set at. It can be set high up here on this tab, and there's a relief cut right here, or you can set it right here and have a range of motion to turn it. We might have to actually do that on a Grand Marquis, or better, a Crown Victoria. So what you do is put it on, and then you'd be able to adjust it where your hoses come out at. Okay, your cooling hoses. And so this is what you're looking at to replace this, and then you put the new one on and screw your housing back in, and voila, you're done. Just like that. And put your tool in, and then add this tool that you made out of a grade 5 or a grade 8 bolt like this. I would use a grade 8 probably, because this has got some pretty good tension on it. I had to crimp this down tight in a vise, take this arm and turn it to get it out counterclockwise.
That's a lot of tension.
It was a lot of tension in the beginning. Like any time steel contacts aluminum, it builds up a little bit of oxidation, and the initial breaking point is always difficult. But once you get past that, you're good to go. And so this is how you replace the oil cooler on your 5.4, 6.8, or 4.6 liter. In the vans, the E-Series vans
99 to 4.
that has the modular engines. Okay, so this is the modular extension, oil filter extension housing. And this is how you would replace it. And I just gave you a little background on how it works. And then if you want to know what the other side looks like, in case you're in some kind of trouble, this seals on with O-rings that you can buy as part of a gasket kit. And then you got one here. I think this whole gasket is one piece. So it comes with a gasket that has all of this, and then it goes on with one piece. And then this contacts the engine block, and then you got an engine mount, probably, that contacts either here or in the back. I can't remember.
So then it should be pretty easy to change this under your truck then.
It's very easy to change it under the truck. It's just that people don't know how. You know, some people might grab vice grips and grip to here, not know what to do. They might think to have to replace this entire piece of aluminum. I'm just giving you the lowdown on what you need to do. And if you need a reference on taking one of these engines out and putting another one in, we didn't trust any short block company that rebuilds engines because it was too much of a gamble to pay $3,000, $4,000 for an aftermarket engine that was rebuilt, because there's mixed reports on all of them. So we did one that we knew had 140,000 miles, right around 130, 140,000 miles, that was well broken in from Ford, that we were able to get. And we were able to track those miles using different techniques. Carfax, had the owner look at the send a picture of the odometer, matched all of that up to the VIN number, and we were able to secure an engine that had 140,000 miles. Unfortunately, when he shipped it to us, he didn't pack it correctly, and this engine rolled all around on the crate that it was strapped on, and actually I had to go pick it up from the docks myself. And so, as you see in the video, the picture depicts me putting it in the back of the E-Series van and driving it home with a 600-pound engine, long block complete. And that's what we did here. And so this is, like I said, what's left over that has to go on the other short block that's being rebuilt, and we're going to have some high compression heads that are going to go on and all that stuff for the future. And so you'll see that later in the future. But for now, this is what a short video on this, on how to do this. So nothing special about the threads. Again, to reiterate, counterclockwise to take it off, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Remember that, and remember it's about a 9/16 to 14 millimeter head that goes in here for Allen or bolt if you do it the way that I did. Okay? You can get a file, a flat bastard file, and file a little bit off, just a tiny bit to give it a guide. And this case, I didn't need a guide. All I did was just give it a little tap on the backside to tap it in firmly. And I think the important part is not to allow this to slip. So make sure you get it in there at least halfway, about right there. And then that's enough to grip it and turn it off. And you could use a regular 1/2-inch ratchet with a 1/2-inch socket on it with some leverage to take it off under the truck. Alright? Or under the van. And I'm assuming there's some other modular engine vehicles that are the same way. Maybe Ford's F-150 works the same way. But I'm covering the Econoline because that's what we usually cover on this channel. Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, think about doing so, and you never know. Econolines are becoming scarce, so as we get into this and it gets harder and harder to find them, at least you'll have some kind of guide on how to do it yourself. Alright, thank y'all for watching.